Yeah, I think it's very exciting for Knight Piésold to have reached this milestone of 100 years. If I think back, 100 years is an exceptionally long period of time. It's more than anyone's career. And so it clearly says that Knight Piésold has not depended on just one person for this sustained, business model that we've been working on. It's depended on a number of people. It's depended on a team effort. And that's what's exciting, is that we go forward with that sort of mindset, that we can look back and say, yeah, we've built capacity, we've built a reputation, and we need to continue with that sort of model. And so it's a culture that we built up, not based on one or two key individuals, although there are certainly key individuals in the company, but that's our model, is on building a team and having strong depth and breadth in our capacity and what we deliver. Certainly as a company, we started off with broadly civil engineering capabilities, and we provide a lot of those services to government back in the early years of the company as Cantac and Partners, and then as Watermeyer, Legg, Piésold and Ullman. And so in the years that history has changed and the country has changed, we've moved from doing a little bit less public sector work to doing more private client work, and in particular mining work, and that's a space that we've moved in very strongly. We had an exceptionally strong capacity for providing services to Eskom, building power stations, and we don't really do very much of that at all these days. And so we've moved out of that, and we've transformed into a company that still builds roads, designs and builds roads. We still design and build dams, and that's been one of our core strengths right from the very beginning. And we're evolving into the hydropower space. And on the mining side, we're not just doing ash dams, we're doing tailings dams across the industry. We do a lot of geotechnical work that supports all of those aspects of civil engineering, all of those projects. And then we've grown into the environmental space, and that includes hydrogeology work and water quality and so on. So we've built up a broader base, and those have become our sort of core competencies. So the key issues I think that we're facing is skill shortages. That's the main one. The second one would be funding for good projects. There's lots of good projects out there, and we would love to build and design all of them, but there simply isn't the funding, and there certainly isn't the amount of skills we need to design and build all of those. So if I go back to the sort of skills capacity, there's been a lot of people that have emigrated from the country, and we need to change that. We've got a really good education system. We've got good engineering faculties that produce, quality engineers, technicians and technologists, but we need projects for them. And so we need to build that capacity. And particularly at my sort of level, there's a dearth of experience and skill at the sort of grey-haired level of the industry. And if I think back to my class of 60 that came out of university, I would say that at least 40 of those are either no longer practicing as civil engineers, or they've left the country. And so there's a really thin layer of experienced and competent people leading our industry, and yet there's a strong growth of our industry at the lower levels. And it's those young people that we're wanting to mentor and to grow so that they can take over in the industry and keep building it. And within Knight Piésold, we have mentoring capabilities. We make sure that people come through and get their PR-Eng, and we assist them with that. And then once they have their PR-Eng, we continue to mentor them on a career path. And we think that's one of the keys to success, regardless of whether they're in the roads sort of section or in the tailings and mine waste section. We've been a company that used to do a lot of cooling towers for power stations. We don't do that anymore, so we've had to evolve, and we use our structural capability now to design bridges and to design water reservoirs. So that's an example of how we've evolved. And the same with our ash dam capability. It's evolved, and we do tailings dams. We do tailings dams across all the commodities and across multiple countries, and that's what we're known for internationally as well. And then in terms of dam design. We've always been very strong in terms of designing dams. A lot of experience in Zambia, Zimbabwe and South Africa, and more recently we've built dams in Namibia as well. So we have a strong history there, and all of that hydrology type work. And there is going to be water scarcity in the future, and we're going to need to keep looking at how we maximize our sort of water resources. And Knight Piésold is in that space to keep growing that. But in addition, there's energy shortages and people are looking for renewable energy, and hydropower is definitely in that space. And so with the likes of our Ingula project, we are well placed to handle those really large projects, probably in partnership with other companies, but we also do a lot of run-of-river type hydro projects for smaller clients and for the mining industry. And then in the tailings field, we have evolved a lot. Just in the last 10 years, the industry itself is moving at a really rapid pace. Following the major failures in Brazil, there's just no way that we can go back to designing tailings dams we did 20 years ago. It's got to be done much more thoroughly, much more rigorously, with much higher levels of factors of safety involved, and that's generating a huge amount of work for us, and it's increasing our technical skills. And so what was maybe thought of as a fairly simple sort of technical space is now complex and really challenging, and young engineers coming into that environment can really take on something that will be a challenging career. So Knight Piésold needs to keep doing what we do well. We've got core competencies and we know those areas of strengths, and we must keep working in those areas. There's no doubt we're going to have to grow into Africa. The South African market has shrunk a bit, and the African market is growing. So we're going to have to grow into Africa, and we're going to have to learn how to work in those countries, and we are doing that. We're doing it successfully at the moment, but it's going to have to continue to grow. So those are the sort of areas that we would want to grow in. And internationally, we're growing in those areas as well. We focused very strongly on being a niche company. We don't want to be a conglomerate, and we want to stay as that company that says we've got the specialist skills in these areas, and if there's a new mine to be built, for example, we will come and provide those services and not try and build the whole mine. That's not our strength, and so that's what we will do going forward. We will stick to what's really good. We'll grow areas, like we will continue to grow into the rock mechanics field, we will continue to grow into the hydrogeology field and the geochemistry fields. Those are areas that more and more work is required on the mines, and so that'll take us forward into the future, and along with a really good culture. And that culture involves senior management and the way we do work, in terms of the honesty, integrity, and just general care and respect for the people in our business. We're a business that relies on people. We don't sell a product, we sell skills, we sell brain power effectively in our designs. So we've got to keep harnessing that and keep bringing in good talent. There is good talent in South Africa, and people really have an opportunity to work at this type of company and succeed and have a good career.